in the urn.
Okay. So people would fire weapons at the urn, hoping to break it like a piñata, and then the treasure would fall out.
Exactly, yes.
And has any treasure ever fallen out?
No, it's just solid rock.
We sure?
Yes.
Has any treasure ever been found there?
Well, this building is a treasure.
Okay, archaeologically speaking.
Yeah. Shall we?
In order to put the theories of hidden treasure to rest, Kharia and I head down to the treasury. We've been granted special access to go past the doorway and enter the main hall.
The two chambers.
Unlike the ornate facade, the interior of the treasury building is Spartan. One large, perfectly proportioned room flanked by 3 small antechambers. But creating this building was an incredible achievement considering it wasn't built, but carved into a sheer rock face. Kharia explains the entire structure was sculpted from the top down.
So when they got to the ceiling level, they would make this opening come in to do the ceiling.
You start at the roof.
Yes.
The ceiling, I guess, yeah, and then come down.
And then come down.
So they pulled everything from the top out that first little door.
Yes.
Until they got to the real door.
And then when they got to where the doorway is, they would have another exit point.
Experts believe nearly 60,000 cubic feet of rock was removed to create the interior chambers. Tough work for the artisans who carved this incredible monument using simple hammers and chisels. Today, the treasury is empty, with no markings or inscriptions to indicate its function. Kharia tells me that scholars have long puzzled over the true purpose of the treasury. And this mystery goes beyond this ornate structure.
Very famous.
Most of Petra's famed architecture resembles the treasury building. Beautifully decorated facades with simple, vacant interiors. Just what were these empty chambers used for? Petra is uninhabited today. But at its height, archaeologists believe up to 30,000 Nabateans lived in this protected canyon, with homes built inside a series of interlocking ravines. And up to 500,000 foreign travelers pitched tent outside Petra's mountain walls. Just how did the Nabateans lure the camel caravans to Petra to trade their goods here in the Arabian desert? I've returned to the Middle East to explore Jordan's most spectacular archaeological site, Petra. Having entered Petra's Sikh and seen the famous treasury, I'm astonished by the sheer size, natural beauty, and complexity of this immense Nabatean city. Archaeologists estimate that up to 30,000 Nabatean citizens lived within the protective canyons of the Shara Mountains, while as many as 500,000 desert traders took shelter outside Petra's walls. Just how could a population that large be sustained here in the Arabian desert?
The landscape here at Petra is classified as arid desert. Rainfall here averages about 6 inches per year. If this region held as many as 500,000 people, providing enough drinking water would have been a major priority.
Local Petra archaeologist Dr. Saad Twaisi takes me along a mountain ridge to show me how the Nabateans were able to collect rainwater by carving a series of connecting channels into Petra's sandstone walls.
Water would come down here.
These channels would act like stone gutters, draining the water along the face of the mountain through canyons, feeding into ground-level reservoirs called cisterns.
So they would carve, this is where the rock was.
Yeah, it was solid. They carved it like this in order to allow water to go there.
To create these channels.
Yep.
And they would carve channels like this throughout the canyons here.
All over the area.
Saad explains the channels were coated with a thin layer of stucco to keep the water clean and the channels protected from erosion. Sadly, most of these carved gutters have since crumbled from neglect.
This is one of the Nabatean cisterns.
Saad and I decide to get a closer look at one of the few cisterns still fed by rainwater today.
Hello!
Unfortunately, the eroding sandstone walls have fouled the water, making it undrinkable.
You said I could possibly go down in there?
Yes, you can. I have already.
In order to calculate the amount of water this cistern would have held, I decide to climb inside the chamber and measure it.